When you're driving to work this morning, expect mostly cloudy skies with temperature near 30 degrees. By lunchtime, partly sunny and 39. This afternoon will be pleasant, and as you're driving home, a temperature near 40 degrees around the region, though, for today. We can expect quite a bit of cloudiness off to our south and west with some snow flurries in parts of South Dakota and Nebraska. Otherwise, 40s, though, for today.
All right. Thanks, Pam, and thank you for joining us this morning.
We'll have more news at 7:25. Join us then.
This is 5 TV.
Good morning, America. Goodbye, David, and good luck.
Mrs. Reagan, thank you. What a nice way to start the morning. Good morning, everybody. I'm David Hartman.
And I'm Joan Lunden. It is Friday, February the 20th, a special day for all of us here at Good Morning America. It is, of course, the day that we say goodbye to David after his 11 years and 4 months, not that he's counting, as a really vital part. That's right. As a really vital part of all of our mornings. And it's a day that, of course, we say hello to Charlie Gibson, who will be my new partner in the morning. Do you know what exactly the show is? What number?
No, I don't. It's somewhere between 25. No, somewhere between for me between 2,500 and 3,000. But I haven't counted. But now that you mention it,
he has too.
Moving along, I am going to be talking in the next couple of hours to just a few of the important guests who have joined us over the years. Henry Kissinger will be with us, Chuck Yeager, General Chuck Yeager, Joe Engle, astronaut test pilot Willie Stargell, great baseball player, and former presidents Jimmy Carter and Gerald Ford will be with us.
We got the count, 3189.
3189?
You thought it was between, it's a little over. You're having such a good time, they just whizzed by. We are also going to take a look back at some really wonderful moments from the past 11 years, and we hope you'll share this very special day with us.
First, as always, at a minute after 7, Jed Duvall in Washington with all the news. Hi, Jed. Good morning.
Good morning, David. Joan. The Tower Commission reportedly has uncovered new evidence about a White House effort to cover up President Reagan's role in initiating arms sales to Iran. Published reports say that former National Security Advisor Robert McFarlane told the panel yesterday that he helped draft a purposely misleading White House document. The document described how President Reagan could plausibly deny giving prior approval to Iran arms sales. More on the investigation now from Bob Zelnick.
Members of the Tower Commission Thursday spent about 3 hours questioning McFarlane at Bethesda Naval Hospital, where he's recovering from last week's suicide attempt. McFarlane has acknowledged contributing to a chronology of the Iran affair prepared by Oliver North, which stressed the strategic objectives of the arms deal while leaving out details showing the real objective was to gain the release of U.S. hostages. Sources describe the chronology as a political rather than legal cover-up. Commission sources say there's conclusive evidence about the arms for hostages nature of the deal, including efforts by former CIA Director William Casey to have NSC colleagues get the hostages out by early November in order to assist the president's political efforts on behalf of Republican congressional candidates. Commission sources say the final Tower report will make no finding as to whether President Reagan did or did not give prior approval to the August 1985 Israeli transfer of American-made TOW anti-tank missiles to Iran. McFarlane has testified under oath that the president gave such approval, while Chief of Staff Don Regan has sworn he did not. In 2 separate appearances before the commission, the president first supported McFarlane's version and then Regan's.
Commission sources say they believe McFarlane, not Regan. Without presidential approval, they reason McFarlane himself would never have told the Israelis to proceed with the arms shipment. Jed?
Bob, what happens now? The Tower Commission is worried about what, mostly? The legal aspects?
No, I think there are legal questions, but the Tower Commission is worried most about how the president ran the NSC. And what they say is a president aloof from events, manipulated by key aides, and not in control of the organization. Of course, there's no foolproof way to keep a president from making mistakes, whether those mistakes involve the Bay of Pigs, Vietnam, or Iran.
Thanks, Bob. Bob Zelnick. In other news, New York's Governor Mario Cuomo had never said he'd definitely make a White House bid. Now he's made it official he will not. Cuomo surprised the political community last night when he announced on a radio talk show that he will not run for president.
In my opinion, the Democratic Party offers a number of presidential candidates who can prove themselves capable of leading this nation toward a more sane, a more progressive, and a more humane future. I will not add my name to that number. I will not be a candidate.
Democratic frontrunner Gary Hart called Cuomo now the conscience of the Democratic Party, and Congressman Richard Gephardt of Missouri, another candidate, said Cuomo's decision will focus more attention on the others in the running. Violence broke out last night in a mostly black community in Tampa after a black suspect died while in the chokehold of a white police officer. Some 200 people set fires, threw rocks and bottles. There were no serious injuries. The search resumes today for a possible fourth victim of an avalanche in Breckenridge, Colorado. Greg Dobbs reports on yesterday's rescue efforts.
All day they probed, each line of searchers moving elbow to elbow, 2 feet at a time, hoping to strike something hard in the snow, or as one searcher frankly put it, hoping not to. Twice they did. Twice when the poles stopped sinking, volunteers went to work with shovels, digging down and pulling up more victims of this massive avalanche, which by the end of the day made the death toll 3, all young men who had evidently ducked under a rope, despite signs saying that this powder bowl was prone to avalanche. Officials now believe there's just one more buried skier to find, but dead or alive.
Of course, we would like to remain optimistic, but of course, it's getting weaker. It gets weaker all the time. It got very cold up there last night.
One Forest Service official, this avalanche in fact happened on Forest Service land, said that some good can actually come from this disaster. Heightened awareness among even expert skiers that if they ignore warnings and duck under ropes, they can die. Greg Dobbs, ABC News, Breckenridge, Colorado.
The U.S. dollar may get some strengthening over the weekend. Stephen Ogg has details in this morning's economics report.
Good morning. Federal Reserve Chairman Paul Volcker says the meeting of the 5 major industrial powers this weekend in Paris is probably a good way to bring about stability in the value of the dollar. Volcker told the Senate Banking Committee what's really needed to move the economy along is more economic growth in West Germany and Japan. Meanwhile, directors at Piedmont Airlines say they're not ready to decide whether to accept a buyout offer from either Norfolk Southern Railway or U.S. Air. Instead, they're calling for bids from anyone else who might be interested. Finally, the world's 2 biggest photographic firms, Eastman Kodak and the Japanese Fuji Photo Film Company, unveiling throwaway cameras aimed at people who want to take pictures but forgot the camera. Kodak's camera should be available by late summer and costs $6.95. It'll use size 110 film. And here's the new Fuji model using the larger 35mm film. It's going to cost $10 to $12. Available this spring. In either case, you buy the film, which is inside the camera, and you send the whole thing in for processing, which is extra. Well, technology war like this could send shudders through the camera industry. The economy this morning.
Checking the foreign currency markets, the dollar is up today against the Japanese yen. In Europe, the dollar unchanged against the mark, up against the franc and the pound. In London, the morning gold fixing down $2.70 an ounce from yesterday's close in New York. A look ahead now at today's news calendar. President Reagan addresses the Reverend Jerry Falwell's Liberty Foundation, part of the Conservative Political Action Conference meeting here in Washington. One of the key players in Wall Street's insider trading scandal is to be sentenced in New York today. Dennis Levine has pleaded guilty to insider trading charges, and his cooperation with the feds has led to many other arrests. The UN Security Council votes on mandatory sanctions against South Africa today. The U.S. is expected to veto sanctions. And this evening on the World News Tonight, Peter Jennings profiles our person of the week. And that's our news at 7. Up at 7:30, the long wait for West Germany to extradite the suspected hijacker of TWA 847. Joan and Spencer?
Jed, thank you very much. And right now it is 8 minutes past 7, and that's time for the weather, of course. And Spencer, Christian, what are things looking like? I don't like the look on your face.
Huge storms, mammoth storms. Let me zip over here and show you. We'll start with David Hartman's favorite weather feature, that is the jet stream. What a dip this thing has out here in the west, dipping far to the south, all the way down into Mexico. Cold air pushing down into the southern states, colliding with the warmer, more moist air. The result, snow and rain. But first, the temperatures. Cold air spilling southward with the jet stream there. It's going to be winter-like over much of the nation with highs mainly in the 30s, a little patch of 40s here through the plains, and some 20s over the Rockies. The outlook calls for stormy weather throughout all of the south central states from the southern Rockies, Colorado, and New Mexico, which were hard hit yesterday with snowfall, hard hit again today, eastward into the plains. Then as you push southeastward into southern Texas and the lower Mississippi Valley, this all becomes heavy rainfall and thunderstorms. The remainder of the nation has a sort of a horseshoe of clear skies around the area of storms. That's the way the national weather picture shapes up. Here's what's happening in your hometown area.
Another mild day is in store for central Iowa today. Good morning, this is Pam Dale from the 5 TV Forecast Center. We can expect partly sunny skies with a mild high of 42 degrees. Winds will be southeast at 5 to 10 miles per hour.
More weather in the next half hour. Joan?
Thank you, Spencer. Right now it's 9 minutes after. Over the past 11 years, David has discussed foreign policy with Henry Kissinger, our former Secretary of State. Dr. Kissinger is joining us this morning from Washington. Good morning, Dr. Kissinger. I have David here for you.
Good morning. Doctor, good morning. Thank you for joining us this morning. You have just in the last few weeks come back from the Soviet Union. As significant as our relationship is with the Soviet Union, you talked to Mr. Gorbachev. What's he saying right now, and what's he trying to accomplish?
Well, what all the Soviet leaders are saying, at least all the Soviet leaders that we met were saying, including Mr. Gorbachev, is that their economy is not working, that they need to have a major reform of their economy, that this requires that they loosen up on some of their past practices, that they establish a better method by which they can determine costs, to have somewhat more openness in their society. What we have to keep in mind, however, is that they're doing this not for the sake of democracy, but for the sake of efficiency, and that they're not doing it as a favor to us, but as a favor to themselves.
To what extent did Mr. Gorbachev or anybody else propose to you all any new positions or what sounded like new positions on the areas where we disagree, on Afghanistan, on Soviet adventurism, on arms control, and that kind of thing?
Of course, when you're with a private delegation, you don't get into the details on which the success often depends. On Afghanistan, it seemed to me that he was saying some significantly new things, or at any rate indicated a tone that might project a Soviet withdrawal over a relatively short period of time, and perhaps a willingness to let then political nature take its course within Afghanistan without claiming the right to intervene. That I thought was new and interesting. On the general debate on arms control, I frankly did not think that he or any of his colleagues were saying anything particularly new. They were pressing us very hard in a direction on which the United States is rather divided. I happen to think that the direction is unfortunate, and in any event, there was nothing spectacularly new except a great desire to come to an agreement.
How should the United States proceed right now to take advantage of, if that's the correct term, this change in tone, if not in procedures that we're hearing from the Soviets?
And I think we should keep in mind that our major concern is Soviet foreign policy, not Soviet domestic policy. And therefore, whether we adjust our position should depend on what the Soviets do in their foreign policy positions, and not what they do in their internal affairs and the managing of their economy, which in many ways will make them more formidable if it succeeds. This requires that we get our own intellectual house in order and define where we want to go, what kind of an agreement, if any, we consider in our national interest, and not permit the Soviets to preempt the public debate by flooding us with new proposals which keep nudging us towards a position which some of us consider dangerous.
How concerned are you that given the problems we're having in our own administration right now, Iran-gate, unquote, and all of these problems, that we are not going to, in the very near future, be prepared to really deal with those questions that you bring up in an intelligent, useful way in our national interest?
That'd be a terrible pity. Whatever happened in Iran has happened. Everybody recognizes that mistakes were made. In a way, they're irremediable in that sense. The president has appointed a very able man, David Abshire, to follow this case for him and to make sure that all the facts come out. The president's great contribution now to our nation and to the future of peace in the world can be to set a direction for our foreign policy for the last 18 months, to bring his warring factions within his administration under control, and to indicate where we want to go, to give us some criteria by which to judge whether we are making progress or not. That's within his capability, and we have to remember his policy got us to a point where there is a very active negotiation. So I do not think he should be preoccupied with Iran. That is an essentially self-destructive course.
Dr. Kissinger, thank you. It's good to have you with us this morning, and may I also thank you over these years for your joining us so many times to help not only us but me understand these questions that we've talked about over and over again. And thank you for your private counsel as well when I needed the briefings to go around the world and do my job. Thank you.
Well, and let me thank you for your professionalism and for your great human qualities, which always made it a pleasure to be on with you. I wish you every success, and I hope we'll meet often in the future.
Dr. Kissinger, thank you very much.
And right now, one of our most significant experiences came when David won an Emmy for the piece that he wrote in the summer of 1984 about the B-1 bomber. It was a tribute to the test pilot Doug Benfield, who died in a crash just 4 weeks after David flew in his plane.
Now, time to go home. One last pass over Edwards at 200 feet, 600 miles per hour. It's loud in the cockpit. I wonder what we sound like from the ground. We've read books and seen countless movies about these test pilots and engineers. They're heroes to me, special. They seem almost immortal, flying planes that may not work, flying them in a way they're not supposed to fly, knowing the machine they love could kill them.
You learned how to fly fast, don't you?
Are you a pro?
Your Lincoln Mercury dealer's 7-day sell-a-thon is on with a big difference: quality. You see, Ford Motor Company products have been the highest quality American cars for 6 consecutive years. And now get 3.9% financing plus up to $600 cash back on Mercury Topaz, Lynx, and Mercure XR4 Ti. Or save hundreds on our success cars, Cougar and Sable. The quality goes on and on. But our 7-day sell-a-thon ends Saturday. So hurry in and save at your Midwest Lincoln Mercury Mercure dealer.
Furniture Paradise, the Iowa stores with the Omaha connection in Huxley and Perry, Iowa, are having a 3-day closeout sale of fine home furnishings. There will be 26 hours of panic selling and liquidation of furniture Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. Huge quantities of the highest quality brand name furniture in the world have been arriving all week. Orders have been given to sell the entire showroom inventory out to the bare walls. Shop, compare. Then no matter where you live, drive to Furniture Paradise, Highway 69 in Huxley, or the far west side of Perry. 90 days, same as cash. Use your tax refund when it arrives.
You can say an orange is sweet and juicy and fun to eat. But there's one word that says all of that and a lot more. Sun-kissed. You have our word on it.
Fresh sun-kissed oranges, now available at Super Value.
If you've ever watched a child striving to live as you stood helplessly by her bed, if you've ever walked the floors to comfort a child who just couldn't tell you why she cried, if you've ever stood alone in an empty nursery and wept for a child that died, then you know what we in Variety have known. Join us, won't you?
Hard to believe that was 25 years ago today. John Glenn in Friendship 7, the first American to orbit the Earth in space. With us this morning are two of David's highest flying friends. Colonel Joe Engle is from the astronaut ranks. He commanded 2 space shuttle missions. He is here in New York with us this morning. And from the Miami Aviation Corps Center, the man who started it all when he broke the sound barrier in 1947, General Chuck Yeager. And David, I'll let you go at these two.
Chuck, good morning, Chuck. How you doing?
It's pretty good, David. How you doing?
Oh, just great. Thank you, Joe. Good morning. How are you?
Good morning, David.
You guys want to speak to each other? Aren't you talking?
Why, sure. How you doing there, Chuck? Yeah, pretty good. Probably not as good as you're doing, but oh well. You got some airplanes behind you. You got one up on me there. Yeah.
Joe, start us off here. You were flying the X-15 at Edwards when John Glenn made that flight. What was the significance of the X-15?
Well, all those research airplanes, David, I think had a real significant part in getting us into space, starting with Chuck's X-1. The X-15 designers got started off on a plateau that they already knew how to go supersonic, and the X-1 showed us how to do that. So the X-1's contribution really was to not only high-speed research, but how to develop a flight control system that we could fly from space, out of the atmosphere, back into the atmosphere, using aerodynamic controls. And that was really a significant key in the development of a flight control system that we use on the space shuttle.
Chuck, Joe mentioned the X-1 and leading to the X-15 and leading to space. What was your reaction when we actually sent people up as John Glenn and the others went up in space? What was going through your mind about the whole program at the time?
Well, David, it was a natural evolution from the days of the first research airplanes, as Joe mentioned, like the X-1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And I was really interested to see how these guys handled themselves in the capsule, because it's kind of a crowded place, and they didn't have too much control over their airplane or their capsule, I might say. And it was very interesting.
All right, I want to bring something up right now that the three of you all did together. Chuck, let's take a look at a challenge that you made to David, and I think it was in July of 1985, when he was out with a rodeo injury.
Dog.
Okay, David, the last time I was on your show, I promised you I'd take you for a ride in a P-51. Well, I'm up here at Oshkosh with a P-51, and you ain't here, so I'm going flying. You probably got sick anyway.
Oh, a little slow roll. I really appreciate your support there, Yeager. That's really nice of you.
Now, we had a good time, didn't we?
Yeah.
You guys all did get David to go up together.
Yeah.
It was last October,
You
right?
bet.
You want to tell us what our fearless flyer was like?
Yeah, well, Joe, go ahead and set it up, Joe. Tell them about what we were doing.
The guy did great. I tell you, when I came to join up, shoot, I could see the smile, the grin on David's face before I could pick the airplane out of the sky, and it was easy to join up on him. He just had a great time. Did a great job, too, by God.
I didn't do anything. I just sat in the back seat behind Yeager and said, hey, this is fun. This is fun.
Hey, David, that really was, and I think you got the biggest charge out of your son sitting on our wing over there in that little airplane, and he was grinning from ear to ear just like you were.
Well, I'll tell you, when you were, and that was the still picture we just saw, the little T-34. I don't know whether they can put that picture back up again. We'll try. But, yeah, my 11-year-old was up there in the back seat of that T-34, and I must say, when you started to talk to him on the radio, when I thought I'm in the back seat with Yeager and my 11-year-old's up here talking on a radio flying wing between Joe Engle and Chuck Yeager, it was a neat moment. Chuck, thank you for that, and to Joe, I thank you both.
You all tried to surprise him, didn't you, with some other planes, and you spotted them out from the...
Oh, we sure did. We had a couple of the guys flying the Zeros down in Confederate Air Force. They were going to jump us and try and surprise Dave, but he picked them up. He saw them way too early on.
See, it's eyesight, right, Yeager? You wrote that in your book. You got to be able to see them coming, right?
Yeah, we picked them up. We picked them up, David. When they came in, Joe and I split and scissored them and rolled in on them, and then they put out some smoke. I think it was pretty realistic, really. It was really fun flying that old P-51, of course, that I flew in World War II with Bud Anderson and I.
Chuck, thank you. It's great to see you. Thanks for being with us this morning.
Hey,
Joe?
David, listen, you know, Chuck, David wanted to fly that airplane so darn bad, and figured I better give him a little training. David, here's a coffee mug with a control stick on it. As soon as you can handle a cup of coffee with that thing, we'll get you in formation.
Look at that. Hey, we got a little stick here. Hey, Yeager, is this the first step?
Yeah, that's the beginning, and next you got to look like a pilot. You should have given him a rag helmet, Joe.
Chuck, thank you. Joe, thanks.
Hey,
David,
keep up the good work, Dave.
You too. Thanks, Chuck.
We're going to miss you, big guy. Have a good one.
Behold the beer belly, the old spare tire, the Labanza. 50 million Americans need a shortcut to get from fat to flat. And here it is. It's called the Gutbuster. It's the ultimate fitness machine, specifically designed to firm and flatten the stomach as nothing else can. Just watch this easy exerciser turn ordinary sit-ups into fat-burning, tummy-tightening power stretches. Each time you activate the resistance coil is like trading ugly flab for sexy, sinuous muscle. Just slip into the stirrups, curl your fingers around the molded hand grips, and row your way to a trimmer U. And ladies, if you're as serious as he is, that flat stomach you had in high school can be yours again. Minutes a day is all it takes. Basic spring-ups like these work the upper abdominal region. Reverse for tension-assisted high risers that exercise lower stomach muscles. This light but sturdy unit weighs in at just 27 ounces and travels easily so you can exercise anywhere. Forget about gyms, expensive rowing machines, and exercises you don't need. If your stomach's the problem, Gutbuster's the answer. Copycat devices may look similar, but nothing fights the battle of the bulge like the original Gutbuster. And it's yours with a 30-day money-back guarantee of satisfaction. So go ahead, Gutbusters. If you're serious, and you're serious about a flat stomach, just pick up the phone and exercise your right to call toll-free now.
To order your Gutbuster, call 1-800-445-7200. That's 1-800-445-7200. Use your credit card to avoid COD charges, or send check or money order for $19.95 plus $3 shipping and handling to The Gutbuster, Department 350, Canton, Ohio 44750. That's The Gutbuster, Department 350, Canton, Ohio 44750. That toll-free number again is 1-800-445-7200.
You're watching WOI-TV, Ames, Des Moines. And this is your news. 5 TV's Iowa News this morning. Brought to you by Carl Chevrolet. They do more than sell cars. They make friends. Now here's Susan Bueller.
Good morning, everyone. The State Board of Regents has approved a $5.4 million development plan for the Iowa State University Research Park. Iowa State already has commitments of $3 million to fund the project. The university hopes to get the remaining money from the state legislature. As many as 6,000 jobs may be created over the next 15 years it will take to develop the research park. Groundbreaking could begin this spring or summer. A study presented to the Des Moines Planning and Zoning Commission last night says nearly $50 million will have to be fueled into the Des Moines Airport as traffic continues to increase over the next 20 years. The study recommends outdoor expansions, including more runway space, additional hangars, and above-ground fuel storage spaces. Airport officials told the commission that over 1 million people could be using the airport in the next 20 years.
Basically, this new plan is fairly conservative, and it's saying that by the year 2005, we will double the number of passengers that we accommodate at the airport today.
Flannery says the airport will also need more baggage claim areas and parking spaces. Iowa's 52 savings and loan institutions set a new record last year, losing $60.1 million while closing $1.2 billion of mortgage loans. A year-end report by the Federal Home Loan Bank in Des Moines says that loss was $1 million below the combined losses of Iowa savings and loans during 1985. Well, some Iowans have been wondering what's been causing our wonderful winter weather. Now, Dennis Doda thinks he has the answer. It's Maxwell's weather wizard doing his thing.
During a normal Iowa winter, this is what residents expect to see. But this winter's look more like this. Snowfall has been just half of the normal winter average, and February's temperatures are 15 degrees above normal. What's responsible? This is Bill Greer of Maxwell, sometimes called the Weather Witch. He's no witch, but he does take credit for conjuring up Iowa's mild winter.
Well, it changes the airflow, and that's just energy from my own body. That's about all I can say.
Yes, Bill knows you may think he's crazy. Bill says he's been refining Indian rainmaking techniques since the 1970s. In 1984, state climatologist Paul Waite even gave Bill credit for breaking a sweltering 3-week heat wave.
It appears that Bill may have scored one here.
Now Bill wants to get some legitimate recognition for his alleged abilities. He's collected 200 signatures so far to petition Iowa State University to conduct a study. And if he still can't get consideration, Bill warns the next big snowstorm is always just a couple of days away.
A couple of days away takes us into a nice weekend, I hope. That's what it looks like so far. This weekend is looking fairly mild. Now the details.
A lot of people come through these doors and come back again and again as happy, satisfied customers of Carl Chevrolet. Sure, we offer very competitive prices, but other dealers can do that too. So we don't just sell cars, we make friends. And even after you leave, we're here to handle any questions or problems. As long as we keep doing that, our friends will keep coming back. We're Carl Chevrolet, Ankeny.
morning, everyone. Across the state, it's quite mild this morning with temperatures in the mid to upper 20s. 33 degrees in Lamoni this morning is our warm spot. They've had cloudy skies all night that kept them warmer. The temperatures a little bit cooler to the north with 19 degrees in Spencer, 23 degrees with partly cloudy skies in Sioux City, otherwise cloudy skies across the central part of the state. And with temperatures in Des Moines this morning is at 29 degrees. Well, that should be 29 degrees, 25 in Ames this morning. Otherwise, our dew point is at 20 degrees it should be, and otherwise our relative humidity 72% and falling barometric pressure. Those are the wrong currents anywhere. We'll just go to the region map then. For today, it looks like we'll have mostly sunny skies. The forecast then is calling for a partly sunny day. We'll see quite a bit of sunshine with a temperature in the lower 40s for today. For tonight, then, partly cloudy skies with temperature near 22 degrees, and tomorrow, partly cloudy and still mild with a high of 39. So looks like mild weather will continue. Susan?
All right, thanks, Pam, and thank you for joining us this morning. We'll be back at 8:25 with more news and weather.
5 TV's Iowa News this morning has been brought to you by Carl Chevrolet. They do more cars. They make friends.
This is your TV station, 5 TV.
7:30, David Hartman, Joan, Lunden. In over 11 years here at Good Morning America, I've had the opportunity to meet some of our country's greatest athletes, and Mary Lou Retton and Muhammad Ali, to name just two of the great ones. One of those terrific athletes is a great baseball player named Willie Stargell, and he'll be with us in this half hour. And we'll hear from the vituperative Howard Cosell.
Sounds like you're imitating him.
No kidding. I thought it was Gregory Pecker.
The very beautiful and very talented Audrey Hepburn will be with us. And then last but certainly not least, the superstar of all superstars, none other than Miss Piggy herself, who I know has a very big crush on David, will join us. Right now, though, it is 7:30. Jed Duval has some news for us. Jed, good morning.
Good morning, Joan. David. Good morning, everyone. New York Governor Mario Cuomo has bowed out of the 1988 presidential race. Cuomo says he will not seek the Democratic nomination. The governor says his decision is best for his family, state, and party. Former National Security Advisor Robert McFarlane reportedly has told the Tower Commission he helped draw up an inaccurate chronology of Iran arms deals to hide President Reagan's role in initiating the sales. Commission members interviewed McFarlane yesterday. The Washington Post says former White House aide Oliver North gave Iran secret intelligence, forbidden to all foreign countries. One source told the paper North was running his own covert operation within the authorized covert operation. West German authorities are still holding Mohammed Ali Hamadi, accused of hijacking TWA Flight 847 in 1985. As Dennis Trout reports, Hamadi could remain in Germany for some time to come.
When the 22-year-old German national was arrested by German police at Frankfurt Airport, he carried several bottles of liquid explosive and was said to be acting suspiciously. U.S. officials were openly gleeful and predicted that the accused air pirate and murderer would find himself on U.S. soil in a matter of days, awaiting trial on federal charges. But the harsh reality of Middle East politics and terrorism quickly intervened, and two West German businessmen visiting Beirut were taken hostage. Their captors delivered a blunt message. Extradition of Mohammed Hamadi to the U.S. would mean death for the two men they were holding. The government of German Chancellor Helmut Kohl adopted a policy of quiet negotiations and stalling for time, which it continues to follow. Meanwhile, Hamadi sits in a German jail awaiting trial. For now, German officials are trying to please everyone. They'll keep custody of Hamadi and probably try him on explosives charges. By refusing to extradite him to the U.S., the Germans can continue to negotiate for the release of their hostages in Beirut. Hamadi may one day be tried for the hijacking of Flight 847, but that's probably years away. Dennis Trout, ABC News, Washington.
Racial violence broke out in Tampa, Florida last night. About 200 people threw rocks and bottles, set fires, looted stores in a black neighborhood. They apparently were protesting the death of a black man who was subdued by police using a chokehold Wednesday. There were no serious injuries. This evening on ABC's World News Tonight, Peter Jennings profiles the person of the week. That's the news at 7:30. Coming up at 8 o'clock, trouble in a California diocese over paying for the Pope's visit. David and Spencer?
Jim, thank you. And it's 27 minutes before 8 right now. As always, at this time, Spencer Christian.
What I want to know, David, is am I going to have to mail you a Jetstream map every day? Or are you going to be tuning in?
No, I'll be up. I'll be watching you Every morning, Spencer.
Smart man, as will most of America. Okay, well, I'll tell you all about today's weather and the weekend ahead after this message from Metaprin.
Wait.
Introducing Metaprin when your body hasn't got time for the pain.
I haven't got time for the pain. No, I haven't got time for the pain anymore.
Metaprin has ibuprofen, the prescription ingredient recommended by doctors 2 to 1 over aspirin for body pain, including minor arthritis pain. And it's safer to your stomach than aspirin.
Haven't got time for the pain.
When your body hasn't got time for the pain, new Metaprin from the makers of Tylenol products.
Well, it looks like it's going to be a stormy day down in the south central part of the country. First, the good news is that skies will be clear in sort of a horseshoe-shaped area from the mid-Atlantic across the northern states and back into the southwest. But right here in the southern plains and Rockies, it's going to be a mess. Heavy snow. It's still falling over portions of Colorado and New Mexico, both hard hit yesterday. Snow has pushed eastward into Kansas and Oklahoma, northwestern Texas. Heavy rain will fall over southeastern Texas today. Thunderstorms pushing into the lower Mississippi Valley. And with all that turbulence there, it could trigger a couple of tornadoes. Now, by tomorrow, the area of precipitation will have split up. A little snow remains in the southern Rockies, rain in the southeast, clear just about everywhere else. And by Sunday, another storm will have developed over the Rocky Mountain area, another snowstorm, and it'll be wet again over the southern plains. That's the way the national weather picture shapes up. Here's what's happening in your hometown area.
Another mild day is in store for central Iowa today. Good morning, this is Pam Dale from the 5 TV Forecast Center. We could expect partly sunny skies with a mild high of 42 degrees. Winds will be southeast at 5 to 10 miles per hour.
7:35 now. As David traveled over the years, we sort of got to go with him, and some of the places he saw were just fascinating, like his trip to the Soviet Union.
But there were warm moments. The farmer from the Ukraine who reached out and said, for the sake of my children, for your children, we must get along better. On a street in Siberia, a babushka, a grandmother, stopped me to say that she wanted peace.
This little grandmother will be shown to all America. I say, let there be no war. She's the mystery.
I don't care where you come from. Alaska will get you.
Alaska is the story that my father told of swift rivers running with salmon and gold. Alaska is so many things I have never known. Alaska is the warming sun calling me home. Alaska.
In 1894, a 3-man research agency was created to test electrical wiring. In the decades that followed, it tested and set safety standards for products the world over. Its name, Underwriters Laboratories. Who created Underwriters Laboratories? You're going to be surprised. Your insurance company. We do a lot more than sell insurance.
What do you know about cranberries?
I know I like ocean spray.
What do you know about cran apples?
Apple juice is never like this.
Good for you, tastes so good too. Cran apple.
The unique cranberry has essential things your body needs. So does Cran Apple, the good-for-you cranberry apple drink.
Better taste it, fresh and flavored.
Hey, what do you know?
Cranberry drinks.
It's good for you, America, from Ocean Spray.
This man is missing nearly 1/2 of the fiber he should have every day. He's not the only one. The National Cancer Institute states that most Americans have diets lacking adequate fiber. Fortunately, just 1 serving of Kellogg's All-Bran has the amount of fiber needed to make up what the average person is missing each day. Kellogg's All-Bran. It can make all the difference.
great.
Hey, anybody gives me a suit, I'll go out there.
You bet.
But it only lasts for a day. That's the problem after they see me.
It's 38 after right now. DH. That stands for David Hartman. That also stands for designated hitter, which is just what David tries to be each spring when he visits the baseball training camps. Howard Cosell is with us this morning to take a look at David's illustrious baseball career.
Hello again, everyone. I'm Howard Cosell. Speaking of sports, there are those who say the only reason David Hartman took this job was the chance to go to baseball spring training every year. He would say that this was just another part of the job, a journalistic assignment, but nothing could be further from the truth. He wanted the uniforms. He wanted the coaching. He wanted the respect of the players, and he wanted somebody, anybody, to say he had the right stuff to make the team.
Listen, Stretch, I just wanted you to know I got a spot for you on this ball club.
Is that great? Bruce Jenner, eat your heart out.
It's going to be very tough for me to have to tell that bad boy you're going to replace him.
We are family. Willie Stargell, the Pirates great, and the rest of his team tried to teach David the fundamentals. It was a humiliating experience.
Hey, you sure your name ain't Mary Hartman? Mary Hartman.
His associates on the program tried to tell him.
Wait a minute. What do you want? You guys lost.
The Baltimore Orioles are going to get equal time this spring.
Yeah.
I'm going to go down and maybe not match your ineptitude in the field, but certainly do my best.
Are you going to take that?
We'll be
But
back.
Hartman refused to give up.
Coach, do you need a kind of a tall, old guy around just in case?
A tall old guy that could hit or pitch I could use. Just being tall isn't going to do it.
And when the show traveled to England for the royal wedding of Prince Charles and Princess Diana, it was an opportunity for this boy of summer to have a go at cricket, another disaster that almost got him arrested. Back in the States, he continued to get the best coaching. Petey Rose, Charlie Hustle did his best for David. Dwight Gooden, the great Dr. K of the Mets, was kind enough to let him hit a pitch or two, but all is not lost. David has finally found a team that appreciates his physical ability, his coaching strength, his true love for the spirit of the game. He is truly a lucky man. His face epitomizes the constant futility that was always his.
Howard, thank you. That was really fun.
Now, we had to
Howard,
shop around a little bit to find some favorable comments, but we found
Thanks,
some.
Joan. I
We
appreciate
found
that.
some.
You did?
Yes,
From
Willie
whom?
Stargell. And Willie's with us right now from KTRK TV in Houston. Give us some words of praise, Willie.
Well, I thought Howard was a little rough on David.
Thanks, Willie.
David has always been out there doing his very best and showing the people that he had the kind of enthusiasm and the staying power, to be able to go and do the things that's expected of a ball player every spring. So, David, I'm very proud of you.
Willie,
and we're going to hate to see you leave. As a matter of fact, as a going-away present, I'd like to present you with one of the seriographs that Leroy Neiman did, and Roberto Clemente's in the background of this, so I'm sure he would have wanted you to have something like
Want
this
to take
as
a
well.
look at this right here?
Oh, boy.
We've got it right here in the studio. Let's see if this works now. There we go.
Oh,
Is that great?
That great.
Isn't that wonderful?
Willie, that is a wonderful, thoughtful gift.
Well, you've been very special to a lot of us, and we certainly wanted to make sure you do that.
Willie, thank you. What's going to happen with you and Chuck down there in Atlanta?
Well, we certainly have created some enthusiasm this year. Bobby Cox and Chuck have made some changes, certainly for the better, and we're looking forward to a lot of guys going head and head and trying to create a position that's going to be open only for one. We got maybe 3 or 4 guys, but I think this spring is going to be exciting. The city of Atlanta certainly deserves a championship team, and these are our ultimate goals. We're committed to winning, and we're looking forward to this year.
Willie, I'm sorry to do this to you, but I feel in my role here that I have to do it and let Chuck and the guys know that Willie's going to be a day late to spring training. And, Willie, I hope you're able to handle what's going to happen to you in that locker room when you get down there.
I know I'm going to take a serious lip beating, that's without a doubt.
Oh, Willie, thank you. And David, I just want to show right now one last glimpse of you and your pirate teammates. Watch this.
We thought a lot about it.
Hooray, Dave! Hooray at last! Hooray! dust the waters away. We dry our wings, it's the way we find the courage to do some crazy things. Drinking all kind of coffee, good to the last drop, yeah. Only Maxwell House red flavor, tastes like coffee made our way. Only Maxwell House red flavor.
So these are Tyson chicken chunks. Mmm, golden crispy outside. 100% tender chicken inside. Mmm, delicious.
Tyson chicken chunks. Great tasting chicken in a bite-sized chunk.
When your throat's really sore, Chloraseptic spray relieves it really fast. How fast? So fast that the moment he feels relief, we'll stop this commercial.
Your Nissan dealer knows what really counts. The bottom line. Compare the bottom line price of our 5-speed hard-body truck to a comparable Toyota truck. And right now, get 3.9 financing or up to $800 cash back, plus $630 worth of options on all E-models, absolutely free. Or get our 4-wheel drive Pathfinder for $700 less than Toyota's 4Runner. But don't wait, and don't pay more. See one of these Greater Iowa Nissan dealers today.
Nothing could be finer than the taste of Aunt Jemima in the morning.
How about Aunt Jemima fixes you up with something toasty instead? New Aunt Jemima pancakes sound good? Then get your toaster. That's right, Aunt Jemima spent a lot of time sifting and whisking to make pancakes so good you wouldn't believe they came out of a toaster.
Nothing could be finer than the taste of Aunt Jemima in the morning.
14 minutes before 8. Recently, I spoke with Audrey Hepburn at a hotel near her home in Stade, Switzerland. She seemed to me as beautiful then and as chanting as ever, somebody who had never changed. But she told me about how she had changed in a rather surprising way when she was growing up.
I was a thin girl, terribly thin during the war because little by little there was practically nothing to eat. And when the war was over and rations started, pouring in, I started to eat. By the time I was 20, I was tubby. That's a big difference.
Tubby?
And then little by little I thinned back to my old self.
Tubby?
It was, I used to eat my way through a whole pot of jam and things like that. I was food mad.
Disciplined. How disciplined were you?
Very, I think, because I had a terribly disciplinarian upbringing. My mother was very much of a disciplinarian, rather strict. And I went from that to a Russian ballet training with a marvelous Russian teacher.
Let me interrupt a second. The Netherlands were raised in Holland, right?
Right.
But then you were in England.
Right. I was born in Brussels. I lived between Brussels and England until I was about 10. Then I spent the war years, actually in all 8 years, in Holland, after which I went back to England to work.
How many languages did you speak?
A bit of English, French, Dutch, Italian.
How disappointed are you that you didn't get to be Margot Fontaine? Something that you didn't, as much as you loved ballet as a child, as a young
That's
boy?
a very good question, because deep down it was my dream. Really was, as a child already. Ballet is what I love most. And I can't say today how disappointed I am, because I've had so much good fortune and I've been given so much not becoming a dancer. And I think the world of ballet was spared me, but I still get a great lump in my throat. I get terribly moved by dancing, because deep down it's something that I really loved so much.
What do you wish you had done a little differently as you look back over things?
Obviously I wouldn't have done the mistakes and I can't say I wish I hadn't been in Holland during the war, which was a terrible experience, because it was finally very enriching, and I, learned a lot for the rest of my life. All my, whatever I've suffered, has helped me later on. So you can't say I wish I hadn't made any of the mistakes, you know.
May I mention a couple of movie titles to you, and just whatever comes to mind? Would you? Fair Lady. How much did you want the part?
Very much. Very much, I think. You know. You see, what the first thing I think of is flowers. That those first shots on the screen with all the peonies and the roses and, you know, Covent Garden. I've never liked words very much. I don't deal with them very well. I love music. I love dancing because you could do it all to music, which sort of takes you out of yourself. And what was great about My Fair Lady is that every other scene was to music, either sung or danced. And in that sense, it was perhaps one of the easier pictures to do.
Nun's Story.
The most unusual experience I've ever had.
Why?
Unusual because it was very, very different. First of all, Fred Zinnemann is a perfectionist. And to be a nun, he had me locked into convents. To be a nurse, he had me witness operations. To do the picture, we were in darkest Africa, in the Congo. And it was marvelous.
Roman Holiday.
I think back at it very emotionally. Because thanks to Roman Holiday, thanks to William Wyler, thanks to Greg Beck, an awful lot happened to me.
There you are, you sneak.
Breakfast at Tiffany's.
That's the picture that's easiest for me to look at. There's something about me in that which I'm least embarrassed by.
But how could I say no? It was also wildly romantic. How do I look?
It's a happy blur of wonderful, very human experiences. I think back and there's always something rather marvelous about each one. Either friendships or places or something very new in my life. I think of them as experiences more than jobs, if you like, and more than work.
If you could change anything about yourself, what would it be?
I'd like to be 10 years younger. Those are the years I'd like back.
The last 10?
Not so much for what's happened then, but I mean, to have a little more time. You know, a lot of people say, I don't care about getting older. And I don't care in that sense. I mean, it happens to everybody. I'd love a little more time.
Wow, she's great. The other star of the TV movie with Audrey Hepburn is Robert Wagner. The movie is called Love Among Thieves. It's going to be on ABC next Monday night, and RJ is joining us right now from Los Angeles. Good morning, RJ. How you doing?
Good morning, David. It's good to see you.
Good to see you. Would you describe what it was like, you stinker, to get to work with Audrey Hepburn?
Oh, it was a thrill, David. It was a highlight of my, one of the highlights of my career, definitely. And I know it was one of the highlights of yours to come over there and interview her.
That's true.
And you made such a great effort to do that. You'd been in Alaska and then in Greenland and came over to do that, and we were most grateful for it.
Well, it was worth every second of coming over there to do it.
You had a good time.
Yeah, it really was good. What's up your sleeve? What are you up to after this is over? You got to keep busy here. What are you doing?
Oh, I've got a few things in the works, David. But you know, I wanted to come down here today and wish you the best of luck. You've been a permanent fixture in our house for a long time, and you're the best, and you're a wonderful man, and I just want to wish you all the best.
RJ, thank you, and thanks for making the effort to come here this morning to be with us. Thanks.
You're welcome. You're the best.
I'm going to jump in here, if I may, 53 minutes after, and one thing you have to say for David, he does have a certain animal magnetism.
Why not? Here is David. Take it, David. Go for it, David.
No more bread and butter, no more crackers and jam. I really want to lighten up, put a Quaker rice cake in my hand.
35-calorie Quaker rice cakes.
Put a Quaker rice cake in my hand.
Son, there's gravy in them kibbles. There's gravy in them bits.
son, there's gravy in them kibbles and bits and gravy bits.
Kibbles and bits and gravy bits.
Gravy, son.
When information is in the hands of just a few, you're at their mercy. You play by their rules. But we think people should be in control, not machines. So at AT&T, we're working to combine computers and communications so you can get the right information to the right people at the right time. As easy as using the telephone. AT&T, the right choice.
It's a February flash from Conway Buick. For a limited time, get up to $1,200 cash back on options. That's right, up to $1,200 cash back, and now get a 6-year, 60,000-mile warranty and a 6-year, 100,000-mile corrosion protection. Our selection is great. Over 200 new Buicks in stock. Up to $1,200 cash back, an impressive warranty, and our huge selection make now the best time to buy a new Buick. It's a February flash at Iowa's largest Buick dealer, Conway Buick, 17th and Ingersoll, Des Moines.
You want to make sure the match is a good match the first time, because there's a child out there who is very anxious and anticipating a big brother, big sister, and if the match fails, then there's going to be some big disappointment there.
All this week on 5 TV's Iowa News Tonight, Susan Bueller follows Alec Ingebretson through the Big Brothers Big Sisters selection program. Find out how you can make a difference in a child's life. Brother, can you spare some time? Tonight at 10 on 5 TV's Iowa News Tonight.
It is now 7:55. In 11 years here at Good Morning America, David's met some pretty big stars, some people that you might even say superstars, but who could compare with the wonderful Miss Piggy?
Here we are as in olden days, as in golden days of yore. Faithful friends who are dear to us, gather near to us once more.
Through the years we all be together, fiercely saints made love together.
Hang a shining star upon the highest bough, and have yourself a merry little Christmas. Merry Christmas. Thanks, Miss Piggy. I tell you, Frank Oz and Jim Henson are two of the geniuses of our industry. Two really great people.
You stole her heart there, you know. Kermit could be very mad. We've had a lot of wonderful laughs, but don't get the wrong idea, of course. It wasn't always all fun and games. Sometimes it was very serious, sometimes even heartbreaking.
As I photographed them, I saw my own children, and I was grateful. It is painful thinking these kids don't have the chances that mine have. And they are India's future. They must progress if India's to progress.
After 25 years, people have had it with dishwasher powders all over their dishes. Fortunately, you're about to get a break from powders. Introducing Palmolive Automatic, a revolutionary new liquid made just for automatic dishwashers. Because it's a liquid, it dissolves faster to rinse clean with no powder residue. So you can get on with other things. Try new Palmolive Automatic and break away from powders.
So these are Tyson chicken chunks. Mmm, golden crispy outside. 100% tender chicken inside. Mmm, delicious.
Tyson chicken chunks. Great tasting chicken in a bite-sized chunk.
Tums doesn't have it. Rolaids doesn't have it. Malox Plus does. We have what you need for complete relief of excess acid, heartburn, and gas. Malox for acid and heartburn, plus simethicone for gas. Get complete relief. Try Malox Plus.
Next hour this morning, Erma Bombeck back with us, and Dr. Norma Vincent Peale.
Also, former Presidents Ford and Carter will be joining us.
And more news and weather as well. Try to stay with us if you can. We'll be right back.
This is ABC.
Hello, I'm Johnny Cash.
He's the award-winning superstar, performer, songwriter, actor, entertainer.
Because you're mine, I walk the line.
In concert, featuring June Carter.
We got married in a fever. I hit a train.
Don't miss Johnny Cash, June Carter, and the Carter family in concert at the Des Moines Civic Center, Thursday, February 26th at 8 p.m. It's John's birthday.
If you live in the following counties, Jasper, Poweshiek, Marshall, Story, Polk, or Marion, hurry into Newton Furniture and save on America's premier lines of finer quality furniture. Pennsylvania House, Thomasville, and Tell City dining and bedroom suites are at special factory direct prices. Or select a Flex Steel or Lazy Boy recliner in the most desirable fabrics and styles. Newton Furniture also has Iowa's largest selection of Highland House sofas, in stock for immediate delivery. Now's the time to drive to Newton Furniture on the east end of Newton.
It's the television wedding of the year. Syndicated columnist Mr. Romance gets married live on Donnie.
Friday mornings at 9 on 5 TV.
This is your TV station, 5 TV.
I'm Tip O'Neill, former Speaker of the Congress of the United States. I see David Hartman as following my example. A couple of times I talked to Ronald Reagan about doing the same thing. He just smiled. Top of the morning to you, David, and good luck. Good morning, America.
Oh, good morning, Mr. Speaker. Takes every opportunity to take those shots, doesn't he? Mr. O'Neill, Mr. Speaker, thanks for doing that for us this morning. It's nice to have you with us. And good morning, everybody. I'm David Hartman.
And I'm Joan Lunden, and on that note, I have a little bit of a surprise for you right now. We have the Vice President of the United States on the phone for you.
You're kidding.
Yes, you want to say hello? I don't think you need...
Mr. Bush?
Dave?
Mr. Bush, is that you?
Yes, it is. How are you?
I'm just terrific. Mr. Vice President, thank you. Good morning.
Well, listen, I told your producer, I just called up on a personal basis to wish you well, and I didn't intend to have all this going on, but anyway, best of luck to you. And this program is tremendously nostalgic, and they're going to miss your tough and incisive and penetrating questioning around there, but I'll tell you, nobody and all your peers out there can equal you for pure fairness, and that's all I want to say. Just wish you well.
Mr. Vice President, thank you. You can imagine how much I appreciate you making the effort to call this morning, and best to you in your challenges coming up in the days and months to come, because I know you have a lot facing you. Mr. Vice President, thank you.
See you, Dave.
Bye.
And
thanks. That's nice.
Right now, we'll go to Jed Duval down in Washington with the news. Jed.
Good morning, Joan. David. Good morning, everyone. New details have come to light in the Iran-Contra affair. Published reports today say White House aides doctored a chronology of the Iran arms deal to protect President Reagan from political damage. Former National Security Advisor Robert McFarlane reportedly told the Tower Commission yesterday that the document laid out a way in which the president could deny giving prior approval to the arms sale. The chronology prepared by ousted aide Oliver North is said to have stressed the strategic objective of the arms deal, while leaving out details showing the real objective was to gain release of hostages. Bob Zelnick, who's been tracking this story, joins us now. Bob, do you get the sense, or does the Tower Commission get the sense, do you think, that this is now a Watergate cover-up thing?
Not at all, Jed. I think the operative and key word here is political. This was a document prepared to assist the president in politically presenting this situation to the American public, not an obstruction of justice. If there were NSC illegalities, they more than likely involve the raising of funds or coordinating the private efforts to raise funds for the country during a period when it was barred by Congress. One other thing that the focus of this commission, the Tower Commission, is on how the president managed the NSC, his aloofness from events, and that's where its report is going to have some sharp things to say.
All right, now what about this key figure in the NSC, Colonel North? Is it your sense, or is it the Tower Commission's sense, do you think, that he was operating on his own?
Not at all, again. I think it's, there's the overwhelming evidence is that Oliver North was not a loose cannon. He was a meticulous record keeper, a meticulous memo writer, kept his superiors like Admiral Poindexter, William Casey, and Bud McFarlane closely informed.
Completely informed at every maneuver, almost every day.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Bob. Also this morning, New York's Governor Mario Cuomo has left an opening in the Democratic field for the White House in 1988 by dropping out. Cuomo gained national attention in 1984, delivering the eloquent keynote address at the Democratic Convention. He used a radio talk show in New York last night to drop the political bombshell.
In my opinion, the Democratic Party offers a number of presidential candidates who can prove themselves capable of leading this nation toward a more sane, a more progressive, and a more humane future. I will not add my name to that number.
Cuomo's announcement, of course, boosts the presidential aspirations of former Colorado Senator Gary Hart, the current frontrunner, and is good news for lesser-known candidates such as Delaware's Senator Joseph Biden and Congressman Dick Gephardt of Missouri. Violence broke out last night in Tampa, Florida, where police say some 200 black residents went on a rock-throwing rampage through a predominantly black neighborhood. No arrests were reported. Officials say the trouble started after the death of a black man in police custody. The Reagan administration has resurrected the controversy over mandatory drug testing of federal employees by issuing controversial new guidelines. Tim O'Brien has details.
The guidelines require 60 days notice before the tests may begin. The testing must be random, no singling out specific employees. Detection will be aimed primarily at cocaine and marijuana, and anyone who tests positive gets a second, more comprehensive test. The guidelines go to some lengths to prevent cheating, leading some critics to say they violate the right to privacy.
This program doesn't allow us to urinate in privacy. It forces us to urinate in public.
But government officials insist the tests will be fair.
Noting that the guidelines are designed to produce fair, reliable, and accurate results.
Yet some scientists have serious reservations.
Since the testing doesn't prove anything and has not been scientifically or medically shown to detect or deter or prevent drug abuse, nor do the results of any urine test indicate impaired performance by drugs, then my feeling is that the tests should never be done in the first place.
The initial test is said to be about 70% accurate. The second test about 99%. With more than 1 million federal workers holding sensitive jobs expected to take the tests, statistically, thousands still face the risk of being falsely accused of taking drugs. Tim O'Brien, ABC News, Washington.
Taking a look ahead at the weekend news calendar, the American Medical Association Leadership Conference is being held this weekend in Chicago. Among the topics, physicians' self-regulation. There will be huge parades in New Orleans this weekend as the city gears up for Mardi Gras March 3rd. The annual Birkenbeiner cross-country ski race is being held tomorrow in Hayward, Wisconsin. The event attracts the largest field of racers in the U.S. And this evening on World News Tonight, Peter Jennings profiles the person of the week. Tomorrow on the Health Show with Kathleen Sullivan, detecting Alzheimer's disease before it strikes. Check local listing for the time in your area. Pope John Paul II is visiting the United States this coming summer. In the San Francisco area, Roman Catholic officials created an uproar by trying to auction off television coverage of the Pope's visit. More from Tony Rossimano of station KGO in San Francisco.
The Pope will say Mass to 100,000 people at a racetrack when he visits Monterey next September. Construction of news media facilities alone is expected to cost the small Monterey diocese $400,000. Church officials wanted to recoup that cost by selling exclusive live broadcast rights to the highest bidder. But after 2 weeks of intense criticism that the diocese was attempting to sell the Pope, the church backed down.
In retrospect, considering the coverage that has been given and the unfortunate circumstances that this has escalated, perhaps it was not in our best interest to propose it in the way it was done.
The diocese said it was tabling the bidding, but not killing it. Local TV and radio stations are now being asked to suggest their own money-raising ideas. The diocese will also ask local parishes to make a donation for the privilege of distributing tickets to the Mass, but the tickets themselves will not be sold.
They are free, free, free. Now, if you choose to interpret that we are going to parishes to ask them to raise funds to defray costs of papal visit, that's your own interpretation. We are not charging the individual, and they will get those tickets free.
No one will get tickets until 2 or 3 days before the Mass to cut down on counterfeiting and scalping. Tony Russimano for ABC News, Monterey, California.
That's the news to the hour. More news, of course, at 8:30. David and Spencer? All right, Jed.
Thank you, Jed. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, Spencer. What's the the weather like? Good morning, Jed. Good morning. Wait a minute. Hey, I'm not gone yet. Look, this is not hard. Get down here. Look, this is not what this. Piscopo makes a living at this. He actually makes a living at this.
I love this guy. I really do.
Is Jed still there? Jed, are you still there?
Yes.
Jed, throw back to me again. Would you just throw back to me again? Let me show you. I can do Piscopo.
David, in real life, there is no take two.
Yeah, we don't live in the real life, Jed. but give it to me. Throw it back to us again.
Just for you. Okay, just for you. That's our news at 8. There will be more news at 8:30. Good morning, David.
Morning. Morning, Jed. What's the jet stream look like this morning?
You never sounded better.
You know, I came to talk you out of leaving, man. It's the best character in my act. You can't
I'm done. Hey, listen, I'm gone, man. You can have it. Here, sit right down. You got it, man. Piscopo.
I think it's time for weather.
Spence, what's the weather like? Good morning.
We're going to go talk about some clouds now, David. This is great. Well, I tell you, I love these guys that do impressions. I'll tell you, I got no respect, you know. So rough for life. I told my kid about the birds and the bees. He told me about my wife and the butcher. Okay, we got clouds here in the central part of the nation today. It's going to be stormy over much of the plains and the Rockies. Texas is getting pounded. Let's close in on that region and see what's going on. What we have here is a flow of moisture coming off the Gulf, and of course the colder air coming down from the north, meeting that moisture. The result is a lot of snowfall over the southern Rockies is pushing into the plains right now. Here's the dividing line between the rain and the snow. Snow mainly over the Rockies, pushing into Kansas and Oklahoma right now. Snow in northwestern Texas. Heavy rain, thunderstorms in southeastern Texas, pushing into Louisiana. That's a look at the national weather picture. Here's what's happening in your hometown area.
Days in store for Iowa today. Good morning, this is Pam Dale from the 5 TV Forecast Center. We can expect partly sunny skies with a mild high of 42 degrees. Winds will be southeast at 5 to 10 miles per hour.
Understands that with all that power comes a special responsibility.
I don't think David has any idea of the influence that he's had on so many people whom he's never seen before. Okay, case in point. Last summer, I was on a ship, and we were off the coast of Alaska. And we were, I don't know, somewhere in the Bering Sea, and we looked over, and here's this island called the Pribilof Islands, and the ship docked there. And there was nothing there except about 500 people, and maybe a few SEAL, and a lot of David Hartman fans. I mean, the man was their idol, he was their role model, he was their prime example. Even the priest, who was an Orthodox priest, said to me, "Do you know that I learned all of my English from David Hartman?" He said, "The first words I ever spoke were, 'We'll be right back,' and 'go out and make it a good day.'" Now, is that a cute little story? I mean, David, there's no doubt about it. David is a great example for everyone. But I just got to thinking, wouldn't it really be weird if one day in New York, a whole group of Aleuts appeared from the Pribilof Islands, dressed the way David Hartman dresses, and thinking that the rest of the world dresses this way?
What are you looking at?
The suit.
Do you like it?
This is a highly individual suit. Could I see the lining? Just close it, Mallory, please. Oh, my. Scary, isn't it?
Erma, thank you for making the effort to be with us this morning on this special day for me. One of the most rewarding aspects of my work has been meeting and talking every day with some of the most creative performers of our time.
I was the best-looking thing that ever lived.
You have done it. You have done it big. You got there. You have stayed there. What does it take?
Discipline, no spoiling, no red carpets, just
Do it.
do it.
I realize that there's a finite limit to my career. I can't go on and on and on forever. I won't be popular forever. The game is to keep going for as long as you can and remain dignified.
I've been very careful in each choice of film. I mean, I can't worry about that. I mean, as I said, I believe what is going to happen is going to happen. And I'm just, do my best, and I enjoy what I do. I mean, there's always going to be something there that I can do. I just believe that. I don't believe it's going to go away.
In my memory, I took my feelings of myself off of what girls thought of me. And up until puberty, I was considered cute by the girls that were my age. Isn't he cute? Isn't he? Look how little and cute he is. And suddenly, when pubic hair came in, and underarm hair, and serious stuff like breasts and certain connotations of maturity, then my shortness and my cuteness was no longer in vogue.
I'm definitely American now, and I'm pretty fast. I'm pretty cynical. Sorry about that.
Cheeseburgers and French fries.
I eat junk food too.
It's true, that phrase that they said life begins at 40, because in a way things they're put into priorities, into proportion, Of course I get crazy too myself, I don't know. Sometimes I act like a nincompoop and a child, and sometimes when I'm lucky, I act like a grown-up woman.
And what is it like to get old? I mean, wait till somebody asks you that. I mean, how can one explain? What is it like
good
to have a broken
What's good about getting old, Miss Hepburn?
Nothing.
So many men in this country are afraid to cry. You're not afraid.
I'm not afraid. I can't help it.
I mean, you can't help it.
Last weekend in Washington, D.C., I was one of 5 being honored at the Kennedy Center in one of the most emotional nights I've ever been through, and all I could think of was, I wish my mother and father, my sisters were there.
Thank you, Mr. Roberts. Oh, boy.
Just think of all those opportunities you've had to talk to all those people. It's just incredible, isn't it?
It's a privilege.
We're going to take a moment right now to remember when David joined a group of cowhands on a cattle drive. Here's a little brief reminder.
This is one of the best 24 hours I ever spent. A day in another place, a place to feel aching muscles, warm fall winds, a place to hear yelps and whistles, coyote howls and slapping leather, moaning cows, mama finds your calf, calf finds your mama. A place to breathe, to be in awe. It's humbling. You want to save it, hang on to it, take it home, but you can't.
Ma'am, excuse me.
Doing craft activities can be enjoyable at any age, but people with arthritis may have some special problems to deal with.
If you have arthritis, here are some tools that may help you when you're working with your art and craft activities. Media grips, plastic or rubber grips that can be put over paintbrushes, pens, pencils, drawing tools. Specially designed pens for use with arthritic hands, or a wooden media holder where small writing materials such as crayon, chalk, pastels can be locked into the mechanism itself. Another thing that can help if you have arthritis is to cut a circle out of an inner tube and use that when opening containers of paint, etc. For cutting, if you have arthritis, you might like to try one of the rotary cutters with the self-sealing boards. These cutters are basically razor blades and can be used in place of scissors. Also, there are mat knives or X-Acto knives out that have large barrels, which make them a little bit easier to hold than the smaller barreled mat knives and X-Acto knives that we've seen before. Electric scissors also are a possibility if you have arthritis.
This information has been brought to you by your County Extension Office.
Boat Vision Centers announce our half-price sale. Now you can get the latest fashion frames and first-quality lenses at half price. Frames like Andromeda by Avant-Garde. Floating lenses encircled by gold, half price. Nordics Berkeley in 17 fashion colors, half price. For that distinguished look, a pair of City frames by Carlo Alberto at half price. Or spoil yourself in a pair of Zeiss frames, handmade with silicone pads, half price. Hurry into any of our 6 locations and get the best at half price.
19 after. Dr. Norman Vincent Peale has been here with us on the program many times over the years, many memorable occasions. For over 50 years, he's had an enormous influence on millions of people and on his times. Dr. Peale has written 33 books, one very special book, of course, The Power of Positive Thinking. It's been translated into 40 languages, sold over 15 million copies. This is the 34th anniversary of the publication of The Power of Positive Thinking, and it is such a pleasure. Dr. Peale, thank you for joining us this morning. What did you think the impact would be when you wrote that book? It wasn't a big fat book, wasn't a long book. What did you think the impact would be and the influence would be of that book before it was published?
I don't know that I envisaged that at all, but I hoped that it would tell thousands upon thousands of young people that they had something in them which they could cultivate into great living if they would have the proper mental attitude, which I called the power of positive thinking.
All right, now you are going to publish, 5 million copies of a cut-down kind of version, a condensed version of this for young people. What do you hope to accomplish with this now?
David, I happen to have a copy of it with me.
Well, golly, that comes as a surprise.
This is a condensed version done by Rick Cox of the Reader's Digest, probably the most expert condenser of books in the country. We want to put this in the hands of every high school student in the United States. So we printed 5 million copies, and we're ready to go back to the press for 10 million more. I've autographed this one to you, to David, with admiration and affection. God bless you always.
Oh, Dr. Peale, thank you. And you know how much your counsel and friendship has meant to me over these many, many years.
You know, David, I was thinking of about 12 years ago. You came into my office one day, and you were uncertain as to where your life was going, what your career was going to be. And I want to tell you that I told you at that time that you had rare talent and a marvelous personality, and that if you would just have the faith to believe that you were going to be led, you would be. And you agreed with that, and pretty soon along came Good Morning America, and that's the way it will be in the future for you.
Dr. Peale, thank you. And as I look forward, that's exactly my attitude. As you've just said, that this is a commencement, it's a beginning, to look forward to new things, new excitement, new challenge, and it's with the help and your guidance, among others, that I can look forward and not look back.
Well, you've just arrived at full maturity.
I'm getting it. I'm not sure about that.
And the future is all ahead of you, and the future is yours.
Dr.
And
Peale,
America loves you, like I do.
thank you. Great to have you with us today. When we come back in our next half hour, former Presidents Jimmy Carter and Gerald Ford. We'll be right back.
When lighting makes a difference, you owe it to yourself to see the lighting difference at the Lamplighter in West Des Moines. The Lamplighter features one of Iowa's largest selections of top-quality fixtures and lighting for home or office. From names like Frederick Raymond, Light O'Lear, and Sylvania. From track lighting to vanity lighting. From fixtures for every room in your home to commercial outdoor lighting. Depend on the experts at the Lamplighter in West Des Moines. Quality lighting, real value.
Located on a lovely wooded 30-acre setting near Iowa State University, you'll find Green Hills. It's an exciting adult community providing independent and active living in a secure, stimulating community environment. You'll find attractive, cozy apartments and beautifully designed, spacious townhomes. Green Hills offers underground parking with easy elevator access, dining facilities, and complete intermediate and long-term health care. Green Hills. Call for an appointment today.
Has it arrived in your home? The 16-page catalog from Homemakers East and Homemakers West. Look for the greatest furniture values you've ever seen. This sofa by Alan White is only $388. Real savings on Lazy Boy sofa sleepers. Brass and glass tables are only $99. It's all here at the lowest prices you'll find anywhere. Thomasville Furniture, Sealy Posturepedic mattresses, Chromecraft dinettes, Lazy Boy recliners. Buy now, no payments, no interest till May. Homemakers East and Hubble, Homemakers West on Douglas, Iowa's largest furniture stores.
Coming up tonight at 10 on 5 TV's Health Watch, Melissa Wells takes a look at some causes and cures of back pain.
You learn how to adapt to pick up your little boy and how to get down to pick up his toys instead of just bending down to grab one for him and you know how to adjust that way.
A 5 TV Health Watch report on back pain. Tonight at 10 on 5 TV's Iowa News Tonight.
You're watching WOI-TV, Ames, Des Moines. And this is your news, 5 TV's Iowa News This Morning. Now here's Susan Bueller.
Good morning, everyone. Former Watergate prosecutor Archibald Cox has told the Des Moines Register that the Iran-Contra affair resembles Watergate. He says President Reagan's staff thought they could disregard the law as long as they were helping the president, much like Richard Nixon's staff during Watergate. In the wake of a petition drive to have the law repealed, seatbelt law supporters rallied yesterday to remind you of what they called the grim reality of car accident injuries. The Iowa Head Injury Association says half of all head injuries occur in car accidents, and the best prevention is wearing a seatbelt. Senator Joe Coleman of Clare is leading the legislative drive to have the seatbelt law repealed. He claims it violates personal freedom. A 21-year-old Ankeny man is hospitalized in fair condition this morning following a car accident last night. Authorities say Doug Bauer was driving on Highway 69 south of Ankeny when his car struck the median and rolled several times. Bauer was pinned under the vehicle. After being freed by rescue crews, he was flown to Iowa Methodist Hospital with leg and back injuries. Charges are pending. While most of us have been enjoying the warm weather, it's causing some problems and could end up being quite expensive for area grain farmers. Steve Carlin tells us why.
As farmers took to the fields last fall, little did they know the return on their yields could be determined by some very unusual weather. A wet fall and an unseasonably warm winter has Iowa Secretary of Agriculture Dale Cochran concerned about the possibility of stored grain around the state spoiling.
We would check the grain very periodically. We used to say maybe on the basis of once a week. We're even recommending with the unseasonable weather this winter that they check it probably even a couple times a week.
Cochran adds that placing a plastic covering over and around stored grain will force air into the center of a bin, where damage is most likely to occur. Cochran says he is also concerned about grain stored on the ground at elevators. There are about 750,000 bushels of grain on the ground at this elevator in Indianola. Workers there are taking every precaution to ensure top-quality grain, but they say moisture is still a problem. Steve Carlin, 5 TV News.
Iowa's $3.3 million lottery jackpot went unclaimed again last night, but 5 people took home a total of $30,000 from the weekly TV show. Among the winners were Charles Miller and Lynn Hartman of Ankeny and John Howard of Esterville. Each won $5,000. The jackpot swells to $3.6 million next week. Pam Dale joins us now with a look at the weekend outlook. Going to be good.
Almost $1 million forecast for this weekend. Looks pretty nice, and we'll tell you about it when we come back.
Direct from the People's Republic of China, the Peking acrobats bring the finest tradition of the Orient to the stage. Drawing from a national heritage dating back more than 2,000 years, the Peking acrobats offer a rich repertoire of stunning feats of daring and balance. Don't miss the highly skilled Peking acrobats Sunday, February 22nd at Stevens Auditorium, Ames. Tickets available at the Stevens box office and all Yonkers access outlets.
Good morning, everyone. It's going to be a mild day today, and already starting out very mild with low temperatures this morning in the lower 20s in the northeastern corner of the state. The cool spot this morning was Spencer with 17 degrees, otherwise temperatures warmed as you went south. 31 degrees, the warm spot in Lamoni. Temperature in Des Moines this morning was 26 degrees, but right now it's 30 degrees with cloudy skies. Mostly cloudy in Ames with 28. Our wind chill 25 degrees. Our dew point is at 22 with 72% relative humidity. Winds are from the south at 6 miles per hour, and our barometric pressure is rising from 30.33 inches of mercury. Around the region then for today, we're going to see a lot of cloudiness off to our east, to the west, and also to the south. We'll have some snow showers in parts of the Kansas and also Missouri. Some moderate snow could be falling there with up to 1 to 5 inches, but some light snow could be falling also in parts of Minnesota, South Dakota, North Dakota, and also northern Minnesota as a trough of low pressure moves that way. But for us, we're going to see temperatures in the 40s and partly sunny skies. The forecast then for today is calling for partly cloudy skies with a mild high of 42 degrees. Winds will be southeast at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Tonight will be partly cloudy with a low dropping down to 22 and southwest winds at 5 to 10. Then for tomorrow, partly cloudy, still mild with a high of 39. So the forecast for the weekend isn't looking too bad.
All right, thanks, Pam. And thank you for joining us this morning. We'll have an update on the news, sports, and weather today at 5. Until then, have a good day.
This is your TV station, 5 TV.
David Hartman, Joan, Lunden, my first flying lesson. Look at that. From
One of the
Joe
wonderful gifts of today.
Cup mug with a airplane stick. A few minutes. Two former presidents of the United States are going to join us, President Carter and President Ford.
And from Hollywood, Chantal will be here to hand deliver an unusual kind of greeting card, a video card for David. Also in this half hour, we will introduce you to Charlie Gibson. Formally, he will be my partner, of course, as of Monday. Right now, though, it is 8:30, and Jed Duval has the news for us. Jed, good morning.
Morning, Joan. David. Good morning, everyone. Former National Security Advisor Robert McFarlane reportedly has told the Tower Commission he helped prepare an inaccurate White House chronology of Iran arms deals to hide President Reagan's role in initiating those sales. Commission members interviewed McFarlane in his hospital room, where he is recovering from a suicide attempt. The Washington Post says former White House aide Oliver North gave Iran secret U.S. intelligence that was forbidden to all foreign nations. One source told the paper North was running his own covert operation within the authorized covert operation. New York Governor Mario Cuomo will not seek the presidential nomination in 1988. Cuomo says the Democratic Party offers a number of presidential candidates capable of leading the nation, and he will not add his name to that number. The governor says his decision is best for his family, state, and party. The family of a New York woman who died a year ago after taking contaminated Tylenol capsules has filed a $94.5 million lawsuit against the drug's maker and the chain that sold it. The family of Diane Elsroth says seals on the bottles were inadequate to prevent tampering. And medical researchers are reporting a major break in efforts to discover the cause of Alzheimer's disease. George Strait reports.
Reva Fried is one of America's 2.5 million victims of Alzheimer's disease. There's still little hope for the people who have Alzheimer's, but there may be hope for the people at risk. Scientists in Boston have found that Alzheimer's is caused by a genetic defect. They've discovered an area on a specific chromosome that causes the disease and a gene within that area that causes the formation of a plaque-like substance that covers parts of the brains of Alzheimer's patients. It's this plaque which is associated with their slow deterioration.
I think these findings are a real breakthrough. And now we can put this kind of research on a fast track.
The potential breakthrough is that knowing where the genetic defect is means prenatal and other screening tests can be devised. More than that, the discoveries mean the day of an effective treatment and cure for this devastating disease may be a little closer. George Strait, ABC News, Washington.
Finally, the mother and brother of jailed Turkish terrorist Mehmet Ali Agca were granted an unscheduled private audience with Pope John Paul II today. They asked the Pope to forgive Agca for his 1981 assassination attempt. The Pope replied, "I have already done so." That's our news to this hour. David and Spencer?
Yep, thank you. It's 27 minutes before 9, and Spencer is our weather.
That's right. Oh, listen, I may not get a chance to be with you again on the air this morning. I just want to say that I have never met in my 16 years in television anyone who cares more about the product we put on the air or anyone who comes to the job better prepared than you, my friend.
Thank you.
And I think you've given new meaning to the word professionalism.
Thank you, Spencer. I appreciate that.
All right, I mean that.
It is my pleasure.
All right.
Believe me. Thank you.
It'll be my pleasure in just a moment to give the complete weather.
You know, the old Streamo.
Brought to you by Nabisco, cream of wheat.
When it's cold and rough outside, try something warm and creamy inside. Cream of wheat hot cereal and instant mix-and-eat. Their smooth texture always lets the flavor come through. 2 great ways to come in from the cold.
Time now for today's Outlook, and it is a messy one. Most of the nation will see some sunshine today, the far west, the northern plains, and the eastern part of the country. But here in the south-central states, heavy snow in the southern Rockies ending, moving into the plains right now and pushing southeastward. Heavy rain will prevail over Texas today. Thunderstorms pushing into the lower Mississippi Valley, and conditions are right for some tornadoes to develop. Now, looking ahead to the weekend, Saturday will show this system splitting up. Come on, Saturday. And well, take my word for it. This system is going to split up tomorrow, and the rain will push eastward. And we're on Sunday already. And snow. There will be a small area of snow over the Rockies on Saturday. By Sunday, catching up with myself, another larger area of snow will have developed over the Rockies, another storm, and Texas will be wet again, but it'll be clearing out here in the southeastern states. That's a look at the weekend forecast. Here's what's happening today in your hometown area.
Another mild day is in store for central Iowa today. Good morning, this is Pam Dale from the 5 TV Forecast Center. We can expect partly sunny skies with a mild high of 42 degrees. Winds will be southeast at 5 to 10 miles per hour.
8:35 now. One of David's most exotic and beautiful journeys that he shared with us was this one, to Africa and to the land of the gorillas.
There he is, 18 years old, 350 pounds of proud silverback. Stood a few feet away, and you don't need someone to tell you why they're worth saving. Look into those eyes. Less than 400 of you left, old fellow, but it's okay. You're coming back.
High above the Loire Valley is a castle that has enchanted travelers since the Middle Ages. But now travelers of all ages can be enchanted at the Hotel de la Bretèche. But if you go there, remember, bring your nose for wine and your Visa card. Because you can't check out without a glass of Pouilly Fumé. And you can't check in with American Express. Visa, it's everywhere you want to be.
Good morning. It's Monday again. And you're gonna start it right. Traffic's tied up.
Cause there's Folgers for you that's decaffeinated too. The best part of waking up is Folgers in your cup.
Decaffeinated? And I'm waking up?
Nothing brightens your morning like Mountain Grown Folgers Decaffeinated. Mountain Grown coffee beans have more enticing aroma and richer flavor than any other kind.
Folgers so rich and good, the day starts like it should.
You know something? It's starting to look a lot better out there.
The best part of waking up is Folgers in your cup.
Decaffeinated.
Weight Watchers pepperoni pizza is always good news. So are the cheese, the sausage, and the deluxe combination. So how can there be any bad news?
Soon this street will be teeming with people, tasting exotic foods from all over the world. Thank you. Is it good?
Good and spicy.
Now Anne is about to experience a problem that's universal.
I've got heartburn. Can you beat that?
As a matter of fact, I can.
Pepto for heartburn?
Sure. As Pepto coats, it soothes heartburn, as well as upset stomach and diarrhea.
I didn't know you could tongue up. I can't.
Pepto-Bismol, the one that coats, is the only one you need.
It is now 38 minutes after. One of the newest members of our Good Morning America family is Chantal, our Hollywood reporter. And this morning she is here with us in our studio in New York. It's nice to have you here with us.
Very, very cold here, folks.
Hey, it's warmed up.
Tad, David, what you have in me today is a walking, talking, living, breathing card, if you will.
Keep talking.
You have a card from Hollywood. Lots and lots of people there love you. And what I have for you on tape is a message from all those people filled with goodbyes, but more importantly, lots of love.
We want to wish you all the luck in the world, and we love you.
And we're going to miss you, David.
We really are going to miss you.
We really are. We've been looking at you for a long time. Happiness to you.
Don't leave us, for God's sake, don't leave us. I don't know how to start the day without you.
Goodbye, David.
More rouge.
Have a nice out chorus, David, and thanks for the tune.
David, see ya. Sorry to hear you're leaving. I sure hope it's not to become an actor.
David, I want to say goodbye. I want to say goodbye at home, David.
I worked with that man. He did sound on a couple of pictures I've done in the past, and he did a wonderful job. You're going to have nothing but static with David, John.
I understand you have the 11-year itch. It's understandable. I wish you lots and lots and lots of success.
I wanted to say goodbye to David. What a major decision. I don't know what to say, but I hope you can sleep late for the rest of your life. Bye.
David, I'm here to say goodbye to you. I'm going to miss you. I had this whole big thing planned. I had this big song, going away song, and with a band and all this thing. But look, the band didn't show up, Dave. The band didn't show up. I said, David Hartman's leaving, and they didn't show up. So just goodbye, Dave.
And I tell you, my friend, that's just a few. You are well loved in that community. Greatly loved.
Well, you know how many neat people are out there, and a lot of colleagues and friends, and thank you very much.
You're welcome. So answer Sally's question. How late are you going to sleep now?
Very late.
No, David.
No, I'll get up and run. I know, I'll be up running. I'm looking forward to that.
We could call you, give you a wake-up call.
Would you, Monday?
Absolutely.
5?
No problem. My pleasure.
5? Yeah, I'll bet. Thank
I
you.
really do it. Okay.
She'll do it, too. My phone is going to ring. You wake up my children, you know what I mean?
Chantal, thank you. We have occasionally made some show business history right here in this studio. For instance, there was the time that David and the 3 stars of the Jewel of the Nile and I got together to form an unusual quintet.
Yeah, and don't look back.
There you go. Nothing's gonna hold Please don't sing in my ear, Michael. Rain coming.
That's on you, Kathleen.
You Americans have all the luck. When I want the great chicken dishes of the world, I have to use my British passport. Your passport, however, is Tyson chicken entrees. Delicious international meals like Tyson chicken français. Incredibly sumptuous. And fortunate that Tyson prepares chicken in so many delicious ways. Tyson is the only passport you need for a world of great tastes. Waiter! No hurry.
Alberto does it again.
With my European styling hairspray.
The ultra-fine mist sprays on evenly for super hold that won't let your styles go.
New Alberto European hairspray with ultra-fine mist.
For new super hold.
Don't be so mean to your hair, baby. Get hot. The O5 Hot Oil Treatment. 1 minute, once a week to help undo the mean things you do every day. So hair looks healthy, radiant, ooh, hot. Get hot. The O5 Hot Oil.
The Spaglinis for Vandercamps. Fly like the wind.
When you want fish that delivers fresh taste, try Vandercamps. They taste fresh because they're frozen fresh. And with a full line of delicious seafood to choose from, they'll find their way into your home one way or the other. Vandercamps, the freshest ideas in frozen fish.
Oh, are you sure it's wet?
So let's hang it up to dry.
Next,
on Dynasty. How much is this going to cost you in the long run?
By the time I'm through, it could cost a fortune, but it'll be worth it because I'll have Colby Cole and I'll have a Lexus.
You so sure about that?
In 1 week, I'm going to own 100% of the most valuable oil leases in the world. And after that...
Weekday mornings at 11 on 5 TV.
It is now 8:43, and David's first 5 years with Good Morning America, Gerald Ford and Jimmy Carter were our presidents during that time. And afterwards, David has had dozens of opportunities to talk with both men. Both are joining him again this morning. Mr. Carter is at his office in Plains, Georgia. Mr. Ford at his office in Palm Springs, California. David, go ahead.
Mr. President, good morning. Thanks for getting up.
David.
Morning, Dave.
Good morning. President Ford, looking at the shape of the world at the moment, here in recent few weeks, Mr. Gorbachev is talking about the democratization, the socialist democratization, whatever that means, in the Soviet Union. What are the opportunities right now for all of us in both countries, and what are the potential traps or dangers in what's going on right now?
We certainly should be, at least to a degree, encouraged by what we see Mr. Gorbachev doing as far as human rights. What he's doing is trying to improve the economy of the Soviet Union, the gestures that he seems to be making toward us for negotiations in nuclear weapon reduction. On the other hand, I think we have to be cautious and not be overwhelmed by a very clever, very skillful PR effort. It is important that we do everything we can to encourage truly democratization in the Soviet Union to the extent we can from the outside, and we certainly would benefit if we could have some really constructive negotiations on reducing the nuclear threshold. But we have to look at it from our personal point of view so that we don't get overly optimistic and make mistakes in the process. We must remember, David, that Mr. Gorbachev is a tough, skillful, articulate man who will be around here and will probably negotiate with 5 American presidents in his lifetime. So it's a tough, tough league out there, but let's at least give it an opportunity.
President Carter, the same question. What are the opportunities facing us right now, and what are the potential dangers, and how can we do something to make the most of it in our national interest?
Well, David, as is usually the case, I basically agree with what President Ford has just said. You don't know how much of it is factual, how much is tangible, and how much of it is just propaganda. But I think we ought to push to the limit to ascertain the answer to those kinds of questions. There are some tangible things there that give me some encouragement. One is that Gorbachev unilaterally stopped the testing of nuclear explosions for 18 months, hoping that we would respond, which we did not. Also, Gorbachev, as you know, has advocated very strongly the prohibition of any destructive weapons in space, and has insisted that that all previously negotiated nuclear arms agreements like SALT II and so forth should be kept in effect. This is something to which we still have not responded favorably. So I think that we should take advantage of any opening, approve him before the court of world opinion. If he's just going through a farce or going through a propaganda effort, let that be exposed. But if he is sincere to the extent that he is, then we ought to respond favorably. Also, I think the more that we do move toward a better relationship with the Soviet Union, the more likely he will be successful in his own effort in the Soviet Union, assuming it's sincere to be successful. I'm sure there are a lot of right-wingers in the Soviet Union, as there are in our country and others, who will oppose any sort of democratization or openness. The final thought that I have is that the Chinese have been so successful in moving toward elements of free enterprise and more freedom of speech. Perhaps this has been something that the Soviets have observed very carefully, and Gorbachev sees this as a way to partially reconstruct the economic situation in his own country.
President Carter and President Ford, I'd like to take this brief opportunity to thank both of you over the years, not only for your appearances, certainly with us here on Good Morning America, to help us to understand what's been going on in our world so that we have a better understanding and can make what we hope are intelligent judgments about what you all have done in Washington. But I want to thank you also for your personal advice and counsel over the years when I've been faced with some daunting kind of challenges and needed information and guidance. I thank you gentlemen both very much.
Well, David, one of the...
All right, let's see. Who goes? Go ahead, President Ford.
May we say something as you go off the air relatively soon. Both Betty and I have really cherished our relationship with you, and we will be forever grateful for your visit out here to Palm Springs when you very thoughtfully and wonderfully dedicated or helped to dedicate the Betty Ford Center. Betty says to say hello, although by California time, she's not here to join me.
She's a smart one, right?
She said last night, tell David, good luck, goodbye, she loved you.
Mr. President, thank you both very much. President Carter?
David, one of the things you said that President Ford and I have given you a lot of good advice. One thing you didn't tell us how to do is how to get reelected.
Well, my job is to ask the questions, Mr. President, not to come up with answers.
Well, you know, you've been reelected, you might say, 10 times, being on 11 years, and President Ford and I never did learn that fine. I might say this morning, David, not only Rosa and I are very sad about the fact that we won't see you each day, but the whole town of Plains is kind of up in arms. And, you know, we have wonderful memories about being with you, but the most vivid memory in my mind right now is your relationship with my own mother.
Yeah.
She loved you so much. She used to say, he's the ugliest man I ever saw, but I love him just as much as I love you.
Boy, if that isn't vintage, Miss Lloyd, I don't know what is.
And, you know, she knew a lot of famous people, but when we had the funeral for my mother out at the little plain cemetery, and we looked around, there was one famous person who was there, and that was you. And the Carter family and the folks down in Plains will never forget your sensitivity and your humaneness and your love that we share with you.
President Carter, thank you. To you and Mrs. Carter. And, of course, I remember your mother with great fondness and love. Thank you, Mr. President. President Ford, to you and Mrs. Ford. Thank you, gentlemen, very much. And we'll be right back. 10-0.
My baloney has a first name, it's O-S-C-A-R. My baloney has a second name, it's M-A-Y-E-R. Oh, I love to eat it every day. If you ask me why, I'll say, 'cause Oscar Mayer has a way with B-O-L-O-G and A.
If the name's Oscar Mayer, it's quality meat and no fillers, just the best that it can be.
How's that?
When your throat's awfully sore, Chloroseptic Spray relieves it awfully fast. How fast? So fast, when he starts to feel relief, we'll end this commercial.
Jellyfish swims faster than that.
Not with a clogged nose like this.
Try Sinex.
With Sinex Vapors, you feel better in 1 second. Plus, its strong decongestant keeps you breathing for hours. With Sinex, feeling better is a second away.
Get a taste of the great outdoors during Iowa's largest camping and boating show at Vets Auditorium in Des Moines. 64,000 square feet of boats, sailboats, motorhomes, travel trailers, fifth wheels, fold-downs, and vans. The Camping and Boating Show is your chance to really save on the unit you're looking for. See what's new for 1987, compare, and take advantage of pre-season show prices. Get ready for the great outdoors during Iowa's largest camping and boating show, February 18th through the 22nd at Vets Auditorium, Des Moines, Iowa.
The girls meet Mrs. Garrett's son. Who's the best mother in the world?
I am!
How come?
I got the best son! She's told us about your gigs and being on the road again, making music with his friends. He's full of such wonderful stories. It's not the only thing he's full of.
The Facts of Life, weeknights at 6:30 on 5 TV.
Well, it is now 52 minutes after all morning long. We've been talking with people who have visited with David and the rest of us here over the years. David's moving now to a lot of new things, and a new world is opening for us here at Good Morning America as well, as Charlie Gibson joins us to continue our daily adventure.
On your plate, Mr. Gibson.
Listen, after watching all these tributes, after watching all these tributes, stay, will you please? Don't do this to me.
Listen, what are you looking forward to most?
I don't know. New York's going to be fun. This will be fun. I look forward to it. And the way people have reacted today, obvious that you get through to people, and it will be fun.
Well, what do you like to do in your free time most?
Run.
Run?
Yep.
All right.
You know that.
It just so happens. That's why I asked. I have got for you something you need. This is the running map for Central Park. And there it is, all the mileages, all the times, all the meters, and you're going to enjoy
I won't be able to run in the morning
there, making up questions. That's what you're going to do. Charlie?
Thank you. I have for you a broken alarm clock. I'll give that to you.
I have for you a Good Morning America coffee cup. That's for you too. Charlie, good luck.
Thank you.
Have fun.
I'll need it.
We'll be right back after this.
That'll do it. Who wants grapefruit juice?
I'll pass.
It's good for you. It's great for dieting.
I know, but...
Lots of vitamin C?
Yeah, but
the taste? Here, try this. Ocean Spray Pink Grapefruit Juice Cocktail. It's tangy, smoother, sweeter.
This is grapefruit juice?
Uh-huh.
It's not bitter.
It's Ocean Spray Pink Grapefruit Juice Cocktail. And it's not just good for you, it's good. Ocean Spray good.
My friends really embarrassed me about my cat's litter box odor last night.
Here she comes.
Come on, is it really that bad?
I needed something super effective. So I got this. New Glade Litter Fresh.
Just shake it on the litter. New anti-ammonia Litter Fresh eliminates litter box odor.
Huh. Did you give your cat away?
No way. I got New Glade Litter Fresh.
All right, I want to take my opportunity to thank you. I've actually worked with you 11 years,
That's right.
but 7 here.
Sitting in this chair.
Very, very frightened when I first came here, and you were very supportive.
Joan, good luck. Have a ball.
I made it through the whole morning without crying.
Listen, great. Thank you for everything.
Look at this. This is the second time I've gotten to do this kind of honor today. This is something that everybody at Cap Cities ABC wants you to have. I know that Pascal's one of your favorites, right?
You bet.
And this is a very special one for you because we all love you a lot.
Wild. Thank you.
Great.
And Pascal and ABC, thank you for that. That is really something. This great artist. See, now I would like to talk about Pascal's work. It is so wonderful, Joan.
But as usual, you don't have time to do that.
That's right. Because I got a couple of things I want to say. Joan, thank you very much. Thank you, each of you, for welcoming me into your homes for the past 11 years and 4 months. It has been such a pleasure. It has been such a privilege to have had the opportunity to bring you information on every conceivable subject of interest, information that I hope you have been able to use in some way to make your lives a little better. I hope I've gotten some answers to the questions you wanted asked. Obviously, I have not done this alone, not by a long shot. My deepest thanks go to those many people on our staff over the years who genuinely cared to provide you with information of the highest quality and have done everything in their power each day to make sure that we set it right with fairness and with good taste. Thank you, you special people on our staff here. To my on-air colleagues, each of whom has brought his or her own uniqueness to our program, thank you. This time couldn't have been more challenging or fulfilling for me personally. I have many warm friendships to take with me. I have learned so much about the world and the people in it. I've come to a powerful appreciation of how fortunate we are to live in America. I have a new understanding of the responsibility of being an American and how great our country can be if we expect and we demand much of ourselves and we work together. I am not retiring. Repeat, not retiring. I'm going to produce and host a number of primetime specials and other network television programs. The first, this coming September, a celebration of our freedom on the 200th anniversary of the Constitution. And there are other new and exciting challenges on my horizon as well. So, until I see you again, make it a really good day today.
We're the one.
Now at Super Value, buy Pillsbury Plus cake mixes, just 69 cents a box. A 20-ounce can of Dole Pineapple, all varieties, only 63 cents. Buy a 64-ounce jug of Snuggle liquid fabric softener for $1.49, and Tyson Grade A whole fryers, 49 cents a pound. Register to win a Hawaiian trip. Transportation provided by American Airlines. Something special in the air.
We're the one. Super Value.
Beginning Monday at 10 on 5 TV's Iowa News Tonight, Diane Daniels begins a 5-part series report on alcohol abuse in our high schools.
You probably drink